My name is Amber Wimmer. I would say that I grew up in a Christian home, but I would also say that I lived in crazy town. My parents were what I lovingly refer to as wackadoos. I got married, my first marriage, I got married very early. My parents were not very thrilled about it. I was 19 and I met my husband at Hume Lake. We were working there together and serving in ministry. And it was just, the next thing on my checklist of what I should do as a good Christian, You meet a good Christian boy at, what better place, Hume Lake Christian Camps, and you serve in ministry together. And we got married, and it very quickly didn't turn out as I had expected or as I had hoped. My husband at the time just couldn't get a handle on some addictions that he struggled with. The most devastating thing for me, I think, in that 13 years was just watching how Satan really is the thief. He does come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And I watched, a man that I loved, that I had believed in, just be completely destroyed and completely unrecognizable. I mean, by the time we were divorced, I wouldn't even know I knew who he was. So when he had left, it was almost a relief, as sad as that does sound. I mean, I was devastated and my heart was broken. But my heart had been being broken for years up to that point. So the fact that something had changed and that God was on the move, even though I was incredibly sad, I was also very optimistic that God indeed had a plan and that he was at work, even, amongst the sadness of divorce and my 3 children. My checklist went out the window. I mean, seriously, here I am in beauty school with 3 kids, no husband, no job. I remember saying to my dad, who, by the way, I should mention, he's a recovering alcoholic. He's been sober for 30 years now and still loves Jesus and has a great outreach to men who have struggled with addiction. But anyway, so I'm whining to my father on his front porch and telling him how I'm going to be single forever because what man is going to want to take me on with 3 kids? I have nothing to offer, and poor me, poor me. And my dad just kept saying, you need to read Ruth. Ruth is the gal for you in the Bible. You need to be reading her. And it was funny because God had already told me that. So I had already been reading Ruth and listening to sermons on Ruth. And, I just knew God was promising me a Boaz for myself, somebody to be my covering, a husband for me. And even though I did not know how in the world that was going to happen. And then, bam, it happens. So if I had to describe how I've seen God work through the seasons of my life, I would say during my childhood, he was my father. He was my protector, my comforter. And as I grew into my own, say my early teen years, my early married years, he was very patient with me. He was gentle with me as he slowly purified those impurities out of me, the selfishness, the self-righteousness, the self-reliance. And I think through my divorce and through being a single mom, he was also my comforter. So much so my comforter, so much so present with me. And then as he brought along my husband and my family now, just my promise keeper, so faithful. What a wonderful friend, what a wonderful promise keeper. And I look into the future and I know that suffering and struggles are in my future. They're in all of our futures. There's no way we can walk on this earth and not have those, but he's using my story for his glory to reach other people and to let them know that he is there and he is real.